Welcome to Wisdom for Nonprofits, bringing the best business wisdom to the nonprofit world. Proven leaders share their experience, insights, and best practices. Finally, a podcast for the busy nonprofit professional. And now, your trusted advisor, Bettina Meyer-Flug.
Hello, you're here today to talk about organization in nonprofits, because strategies for optimizing your mission is so essential. So I have here with me a special guest, Diana. I'm going to talk about her a little bit. But first of all, let me talk about my impression about nonprofits. Nonprofit organizations face numerous challenges and pressures, which have only increased in the past few years due to COVID. So COVID has made it abundantly clear that it's essential for nonprofits to pay attention to their operational efficiencies. I have a podcast about efficiency that I recorded with United Way. If you have a chance, take a look at the podcast Wisdom for Nonprofits. Be aware of changing business environment and realize that recruiting model must change is something very important for nonprofits. Strategic thinking, from big picture, long range planning to the everyday use of project management tools, softwares such as Trello, are very important. Or even implementing a CRM like Salesforce can help your nonprofit and can enable you to be more effectively and be adaptable for new change in this dynamic environment. So Diana Williams-Cooper has worked as a leader and manager in the public libraries for over 25 years. And we know that the libraries have a big similarity with the nonprofit world. That's why I think she can add a lot of value when talking with nonprofits. She worked in partnership with nonprofits, developing library programming, helping library users connect to nonprofit services, and more close to home, has used her career experience in advising her spouse on how to help his nonprofit. He works at Meals on Wheels, and that's how we got connected, isn't it, Diana? So I attended to a
Yes.
big event that Meals on Wheels organized, National Wild. When I met him in person, it was a pleasure. And when I launched my program, Happiness Journey, he said, maybe this is a good opportunity for Diana to join you. And here we are together after 6 weeks working on Happiness Journey program. So welcome, and a little bit about, give an overview to our audience about your career and where you in your life right now.
Well, thank you, Bettina. It's so nice to join you this morning. And I'm very happy to be here and to have been part of the happiness journey with you. So I started my career in libraries over 25 years ago. I was getting ready to finish up my bachelor's degree in college, and kind of life, the seriousness of life hit me, and I realized I needed a plan for what was next. And my last year of college, I decided that I really had enjoyed libraries and had had a little experience working in libraries part time, but really enjoyed that and wanted to move forward in that career line. So I decided to apply and go into a master's degree program immediately after my bachelor's degree. So I kind of went right from one thing to the next. After finishing that master's degree program, I then went ahead and took a position in an academic library. I was going to focus in academic libraries. A few years later, after having that time in academic libraries, I had an opportunity to move closer to my family and take a position in a public library as a manager. And that was a wonderful opportunity. It allowed me to provide some balance between family and my professional life. It was a wonderful experience working in a small library as a director. I really learned a lot about management and leadership. And I was able to grow my skills there with a small team of employees. And it really made me fall in love with management. And that's where I've really taken my career since then. I have moved on to a bigger library and am a manager of a much bigger team now. And I've really focused on mentoring and nurturing. I had the opportunity to help 4 young women become library directors in the United States.
That's
And
so
recently in the
cool.
last yeah. And recently in the last couple of years, I encouraged 4 members of my current staff to go ahead and apply, and they were accepted into master's degree programs to become librarians, and they did that while working full time. So those are some of the things that I'm really proud of as far as mentoring and nurturing others, and something I enjoy as part of my leadership.
So talking about leadership, I noticed that you have amazing management abilities. Can you tell us a little bit how it was managing your team during COVID and how flexible you needed to be and anything you like to share with us about this COVID situation and how to be flexible as a manager?
Well, it seemed like that things just happened almost overnight. I mean, we knew that something was happening, but it was almost like within a 24 to 48 hour time period where we were told by our management, city government, which is what we're a part of, that we were going to be shutting down services and re-looking at everything that we do because of the pandemic and the shutdowns. Within 24 to 48 hours, I had to take my management team and figure out how is the library still going to be effective and a central part of this community, even though we have got a lot of restrictions placed on us. So no face-to-face contact. Um, at that point, we were not opening our doors to the public. How can we get our services out there into the community and not have those things that were traditionally what libraries do? We're open, you walk in our building, you interact with a human being. And my team was so responsive and I was so proud of them. We immediately moved into, okay, how do we get materials out to these people who still want to read and maybe even more want to read than ever
Of
before
course.
because they have a lot of free time or they're feeling cooped up, shut in, they need that connection. So we developed within a couple days the curbside service, which means that people can drive their cars up. We leave a bag of their materials out. It's kind of like what all the grocery stores and other stores are doing now, but that wasn't the model at that time. That was very apparent and everywhere. It wasn't everywhere in March of 2020. And so we had the curbside service that went out our back door. So even though our front doors weren't open, our back door was. People could call in, text us. We opened up all those avenues of using that virtual world to get in touch with us, and then we were responsive to that. The other thing we did was we learned very quickly how to use programs like Facebook Live, just like today. All of our story times, all of our craft programs went to a Facebook Live platform, and my team learned how to use the cameras, learned how to use the microphones, learned how to create a program where you're connecting on screens instead of in person. So that was a big transition. I'm very proud of the work that they did there.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know that in nonprofits, people wear different hats all the time. You have to be ready for new adventures that you're going to face as a nonprofit professional, and you have all those skills for sure. And can you tell us a little bit about your professional moment? Why you decided to join the Happiness Journey program? Why do you think this was important to you at your specific professional time, I can say?
Sure. I have been in a period where I've really been rethinking my career. As I mentioned before, I've worked in libraries for 25 years. And I think it's also a life stage that I'm in, and something I've discovered by talking with you further about that and the life stages we go through. But something has been pushing me, kind of a feeling of, uncertainty or a wondering, what's next? Is there something I should be doing? It's not that I'm completely unhappy, but I feel this push, this urge to do more, to do something else. And trying to discern what that is definitely something that I've been thinking about for a couple of years. It's been a couple of years. And I think that I needed a push of how to get over that kind of hump of just thinking about it and really starting to put things into practice, really looking critically at what what's next and how do I get there. It seemed like such a big leap for me. There's a lot of fear there. There's a lot of things that I think you tell yourself that hold you back, and just having a group or a coach that can broaden my vision and help me see things differently. That's what I was really looking for. I just felt stuck, and I felt like I needed that broader vision. So that's really what led me to the Happiness Project. My husband knew I was struggling. He saw that you were doing this and connected us. And once I had that first conversation with you, Bettina, I just felt very positive about the possibilities.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Can you explain what was your impression about one of our classes when we talked about the 7 year cycles life and how this comprehension that we are changing helped you feel more calmer?
Once I did the math and realized the 7 years, and I looked at my own age and I thought, oh, I'm right there. I'm almost within a year of that 7 year change. And then I thought backwards. I thought back on my life and the 7 years, 7, 14, 21, all those times, and thought about what was happening in my life. And I thought, yeah, there were some major changes in my lives during those key points, or as I was moving up to them, I was making changes. So it really made me realize, wow, this is happening. And for the first time, I'm very aware that it is. And those other ones, I wasn't aware. I and I don't know if it was youth or what it was, but these changes occurred, and now it's like that change is happening, but I feel just so much more like, I don't know, just nervous about it or afraid, and it's like, why? Change is part of our lives, and change is something that I usually enjoy. I like it, my career, I like different things every day, I like to make changes, improvements. Why is this so scary for me right now? Why am I fearing this? And so that is definitely something that about that 7 year that really clicked with me when we talked about it.
Yeah, and during the program, we have also every week a session when we go individually one by one. And it was amazing talking to you, Day, and seeing you realizing how beneficial it can be you going through this big leap to be an example to your daughter. Can you tell us how you were thinking before our conversation and how this changed?
Yes. And I know that I've spoken with you about this, but one of my biggest fears is, and has been for all my career, is the effect of the choices I make in my career and what effect it has on my family. Always thinking about how do you balance that? And how do you do all the things that you want to do with the family, but also have these professional goals that you want to achieve? So I'm very nervous. I still a little bit, apprehensive about how myself making a change in my career or changing my focus and my goals in a different way is going to affect, especially my daughter, who is at that 12 to 13-year-old kind of age in her life, and what kind of things that will do to her life and her routine and things that she enjoys. So, in talking with you, I really discovered that I am an example for her. She looks to me for that example of how a woman, an adult, handles these things in their lives. How I have handled my career, how I handle my family, and balancing those things. And that change, having her see me change is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So that she can figure out how she's gonna make the changes in her own life because she's going to face it. And I never thought about it. I thought of it more as I'm protecting her versus I'm teaching her how to deal with the changes she's gonna face. She's got to learn how to face those changes and how to do that successfully. And she's also gotta see my struggle, that it's not easy and it's not perfect, and that we all struggle with change.
Oh, I love when you told me here that you like that I still do things without being perfect. This is something I learned with a coach, that it's okay to go to B minus, and that's what I mean, to B minus, and then getting better. Even this life, it's so hard to transmit a life in three different channels, but I said, I want to learn. Let's do it. So you see in the program, it's not perfect, but we are changing lives. That's what I want. And I'm doing this every day. So, what are the changes you're expecting to your life?
I am thinking at this point, that I have several different options. I could stay where I'm at. I could move into a directorship of a library in another area or a different type. But I feel like that I'm really being called at this point to work in the executive leadership positions in nonprofits or helping a for-profit possibly with philanthropy. Still kind of investigating some of that side of it, but really drawn to that, really drawn to the nonprofit world and bringing the skills that I've learned working in a library to that world, because I feel like there's so much that we can learn from each other. I have looked to nonprofits to learn a few things, and I see areas where they can learn from libraries. So I feel like that I would bring a lot of skills in management, budgeting, strategic planning, innovative and creative thinking. I feel like I could bring a lot of those things to a nonprofit.
I agree. I agree 100%. And at the beginning of our conversation, we talked about organization skills, and you have them. So you're already using Trello to manage your daily activities. Can you explain, how do you foresee, a nonprofit using Trello to be more efficient and sharing all the knowledge among their team?
Mhm. I have used Trello when I first discovered it, when I was looking for more creative ways to continue to communicate the strategic plan and goals that we have for the library to my whole management team. So that's about 4 or 5 different people who are in charge of different departments in the library. And I love the way that it was Trello allowed you to invite more people to be part of a collaborative board, this online kind of board that you create. You can make it private, and you can then set tasks and send them to different people. You can see in real time kind of where they're at with a project or a goal, if you've met the goal, if you're still working on the goal, and what steps you need to achieve to meet that goal. So it put my strategic plan for the library right there in front of us, with all of us being able to view it together and make comments and get feedback on that site. And then we could take that into our actual face-to-face meetings and use it again to review and state where we're at. But I just liked the ability to see it all in one place and be able to move the cards around, move the projects around, add to it, remove things. It just has that flexibility. So that I felt it was very helpful.
Yeah, I love teaching this class about how to optimize your task management. So we're going to learn about time blocking, task management, different tools like Monday or Salesforce or Trello. And I give you guys a template how to better manage your Trello for your personal tasks, and also for a company or an organization. If you're managing a team, it's totally different. In my case, I manage a team of 8, and they're in different countries, so I have to have boards in different languages so they can work
Um,
together and translate them, and Trello's been amazing to help me out with that. What else? Let's talk about work-life balance. You mentioned this is so important for any type of professional. What have you changed after participating in a program in your work-life balance day?
well, what I really liked was that you laid out the different areas of our life. And I feel like that for many years, I have been laser focused on profession, career growth, but that's just one of the many aspects of our lives. So when we laid it out and we looked at health, we looked at relationship, we looked at our um, friends relationship side, maybe our relationships in the community, but also our spouse relationships, our partner relationships, and family, and our sleep habits as part of health, and our spirituality. looking at all of those, kind of laying that out, putting down goals for each of those areas made me see the bigger picture, made me realize that I might have been focusing too much in one area and I needed to broaden that focus. I needed to really think about realigning what's most important to me now. And it changes throughout our lives. So I was kind of stuck in a way that I used to do it, and I needed to rethink that. So that was very helpful to lay all that out and take a look at it.
And you implemented new routines in your life, and it's like an evening routine, you said was very helpful. How about a couple's relationship? Do you think you learned something different that was helpful for your family relationship, like agreements versus expectations and
Yeah.
the generations, all those topics that we talked in our happiness journey program?
Yes, the agreements versus expectations was a clarifying moment. It helped me realize, yes, this is something that I need to be more aware of, getting that agreement versus setting an expectation in my mind and just believing that everyone understands what I'm thinking and is going to do whatever I'm requesting in the way that I've thought without being very clear and coming to an agreement. I feel like that some of the journaling practices, the disharmonious, and I don't have the full title of what you call that.
Disharmonious emotions. Whenever you feel a disharmonious emotion, how can you evaluate the situation and learn from it?
Yes, and really going through the steps in the journal that you provided and thinking back on an event where there was some conflict and how you handled that, and maybe how your spouse reacted, and rethinking through it how you can do better in the future and what you need to change in order to improve that relationship or that situation in the future. That was very helpful to me as well.
No, thank you. And how did the happiness journey help you with your discernment?
In a very positive way, you've pushed me to think about things without so much fear and ask different questions of myself. And I think it's important that we think about the right questions to ask ourselves. Sometimes we get into a very negative mindset and we tell ourselves things that aren't really true, that you can't do this, or there's reasons why, and there's so many reasons why you're not going to be able to accomplish this. And I feel like that your positive influence and the group feedback that I received in our group meetings have helped me realize that.
That's so good. And what are some questions you're still working through?
I am still thinking through that discernment process and what's next. I am still thinking about my daughter and the role that I play in her life. Um, I am really thinking about what that next position looks like. I, it's still that idea of um, is it going to be a good fit or not if I move? What if I regret? The regret situation. But you and I had a very nice conversation about how career paths and the amount of time people spend in their positions has changed. That culture has changed. And I'm at a point in my career where I could decide that the position for me is something that I take for a 3-year time period or a 5-year time period versus I'm looking at 15 or 20 years as we
Right.
used to many years ago in our careers. And I think just being open to the change, and looking at ways in which I can continue to create that openness and that very positive um, self-talk and attitude about change in my own life.
Yeah, I truly believe that a nonprofit that will have you as an executive director will win the lottery because you have all the skills to manage a team and you also have this willingness to make a change, to work with a mission driven organization. That's so important. How do you think the personality test that we did and the awareness of your skills helped you, feel more confident on your journey?
It really backed up some of the things that I knew about myself, and I was like, "Oh, wow, this makes a lot of sense to me." I am a person who likes to have goals and direction, and once I have that clear vision of where I'm going, I like to move forward and achieve. And I could see that in what I have done. I can see that in how I work with other people, that I like forward movement. I like people who are open to innovation and change and recreating things and finding excitement in that. And that also, as a secondary skill, I really enjoy the organizational side of putting plans into place and making sure that projects are completed. I really find joy in that. So that's why the strategic planning piece of my job has been very enjoyable to me. And creating that vision for an organization is something that's very exciting to me. And then helping the pieces and the parts come together, the teams come together, the culture changes that need to happen to get that forward movement is something I really enjoy doing.
Yeah, I love that. I think this personality test helps so much and can help even better nonprofits create an efficient team together. As I mentioned before, nonprofits professionals, they wear different hats. So if you have a people with complementary skills working together, this can work smoothly. So we provide some training for nonprofits in this area. If you're interested, go to our website, wyty.tech. But Diana, please tell me what is important in your next adventure? What are you looking for?
I am looking for a position where I know that I have a, I guess a cause or a mission that I am working to improve upon, something I can give back to the community. And that's why I feel like that nonprofits do such amazing work is because they're solving a community problem, they are helping, they're supporting individuals in their community. They're really looking at where the needs are and trying to improve people's lives. And that's what I really love doing, as well as having that mission that I know I'm working towards the greater good and working in the community to make that happen.
Now you want to make a difference. That's for sure. We can see that in everything that you do, you put your 120%, not your 100%. So, guys, we are coming to the end of our live here. I just want to clarify what is the Happiness Journey program. Is a 6-week challenge where you join an online program. You're going to receive access to a specific app where you're going to have videos and exercise, one video at a day and one exercise at a day, a 21-day program meditation where you're going to learn how to meditate and bring this into your life. And I'm going to share with you 30 different coaching tools for you to be your own coach. Like you see here, Diana now has a toolbox with 30 different things that she can use to improve her career. And she can use this over and over, not just in this exactly time, but she can teach other people how to do it. I wish you guys to have some time to take a look on the program. Just go to my website, wyty.tech. And let's get in touch. Diana, thank you so much for being here with us. I really appreciate your time and more than your time, your dedication the past 2 months into this program. You did amazingly, and I can see for sure a brilliant future for you. So I have a last saying for you is rise and shine. You deserve it, Diana. You're amazing.
Thank you, Bettina, for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Wisdom for Nonprofits. To hear past and future episodes, please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast channel. We appreciate your reviews and suggestions for future show topics. If you have a question or a suggestion, please write to us at podcast@wity.tech. More resources are available for you at our website, wity.tech. And please join us in the Wisdom for Nonprofits group on LinkedIn. Wisdom for Nonprofits is copyright 2019 by Bettina Meyer-Flug and wity.tech. All rights reserved.